So now I will do one more thing on, so I will try to solve time dependent Schrodinger equation. Okay. So this is some of the students are doing projects, time dependent Okay. So before I do that, we need to, I would like to, so some of you are working with Runge-Kutta second order, that is okay. There is a better way to do it, but if you are just doing Runge-Kutta second order, you are getting some results, that is fine. You can implement what I am going to do today, but it is your choice, but I think you should try to implement, it is quite easy and this will give you a better result. Okay. Newman's book is quite good, so I will go to, some of it is Newman's book and some of it is internet. I just searched and you can find reasonably good description. So there is one scheme which I did not do in the class, it is called leapfrog method for solving ODE. Actually there is also called, related is Worley method. This is a very nice method, so for mechanics problems. So mechanics problem, so we are doing x dot is v, velocity, and v dot is force by mass, but let us assume mass is 1. Okay. So this is f of, I will assume that force is only function of x, 1D. Okay. Now these systems are Hamiltonian systems and they conserve total energy. So total energy is half v squared because mass is 1 plus v of x, potential is constant, and this is integral of fx dx, right. Now you also know that these are time reversal symmetric. So if I take the system, go forward in time, or at that time I reverse the system by changing the velocity backward, I should get back to the original position, right. Everybody knows this. This I think I did in the last semester, I remember that, time reversal symmetry. Okay. So there is one scheme which respects the time reversal symmetry, and this is called leapfrog method. The idea is, in fact let me just draw this. So you discretize space x at unit interval, so 0, 1 like this, 2. So this is my x position. Now grid is artificial, okay, grid is what I am making. So this is where I store x, xn, n is the time index, but my velocity is stored in the midpoint. So this will be v half, v3 half, like this. So velocity is stored here. This is like very similar to staggered grid we did. Staggered grid has advantage. So how do I write my scheme, time stepping scheme? So xn plus 1 is xn because my x is at the grid points, at integer grid points, plus v of times delta t times v of, now where velocity is not there at the grid points, velocity at half grid points. So the velocity at the midpoint, in fact is better, no, because velocity at the midpoint will give you better accuracy. I do not want to use my initial velocity or the final velocity, in fact they correspond to Euler forward and Euler backward, but this is a midpoint which is good. So this is v of n plus half. Actually let us write, I would want to write like v n plus 1 x n n plus half. So this is a time index, we put it up, and whatever the velocity, velocity is at the initial, is at the midpoints. So v n plus half will be, so velocity at n minus half. So let us say I am here, n plus half, n minus half. Where should I compute the force? Force here at the midpoint again. So that is delta t delta t times f of x n. So this is called leapfrog method or Worley method. Now the only difficulty is that what do I do? How do I, well, my initial condition is typically given at t equal to 0. Okay, but my velocity is starting at half, v half, v3 half. So the first step, you can use Euler scheme. So from here you can jump here by applying Euler scheme. Okay, so I need this first step, v half equal to v0 is only for the first step, delta t by 2 force. Fine. So if you apply this scheme, you will get accurate mechanics solution. Well, accurate is, again there will be error, but it will be time reversal symmetric. So energy will not be exactly constant, but it will oscillate around the correct value. So if I work with this, my energy, suppose this is the energy, it will do like this function. It don't grow the error, neither will it will decay. So this is guaranteed. So for quantum mechanics, my mod psi square will not be equal to 1, but it will be around 0.99 to 1.01. Okay, so that is good. Unlike mod psi square is going to 0 or going to diverging. So now we apply this scheme for solving time dependent Schrodinger equation. Is that idea clear? Now, so my equation is I h bar dt psi is s psi. Now let us do in 1D. So h bar is minus I am going to non-dimensionalize it, so h bar m will go away. Okay, I do not want to carry that stuff. So my equation basically becomes I dt psi is minus okay, v is function of x. Now split my psi into real and imaginary part, real plus I imaginary. Okay, so split it. If I split this, then I will get, so let us plug it in here. So I will just make some space here, I dt psi real plus I imaginary is minus so collect the real part and imaginary parts. So how does the imaginary part first look like? So imaginary part will be dt r so this imaginary part equal to minus dx squared, no imaginary multiplied by I plus vi, correct. Now what happens to the other one, dt I, the minus sign, I squared is minus I equal to, now here the real part minus dx squared, I made a mistake, no, this is minus here inside, plus v of r. So let us put a minus sign here, minus, this becomes plus. Okay, so these are the two coupled equations for the real part and imaginary part. Both r and I are function of x. Now what I want is I squared plus r squared is constant. Integral dx is in fact 1, right? That is a energy probability conservation. Now what idea, I can use this idea to solve this problem. So this light x dot equal to velocity and v dot is function of x. Okay, so this is very similar to what I got here. So I use that idea, and it seems it works. So what I will do is, I will store the imaginary part. So let me just make sure that I am doing it right. Imaginary part at midpoints. So imaginary parts at midpoints here, I here, and the real parts here. Okay. So this is a, well, is function of time. So this is function of, so I am going to time step imaginary part only at the in time half intervals, but the real will be time step to the full intervals. So let me write this. Okay. So now there are, now please remember there are two indices, one for the space, one for time, and in time I advanced like that. So now I do the space discretization. So this is in time. Now I do space discretization, which is same. So at each point I got, yeah. So at every point there is a real part and imaginary part. Every point, this I and this n. Okay. So this index n, I. So every I got real and imaginary. Fine. Exactly what we did for fluids. For fluid I was staggering velocity and pressure, but here don't stagger in space, but stagger in time. So I am going to write this in terms of time stagger. So the first is I will write for I. So I know I at n plus half, n minus half, I n minus half at position I. So when I discretize it, what happens to, if I do the finite difference, so let's do, I will do one more step because I don't want to confuse everyone. So let me just do one more step for this equation only. So now I discretize this equation in position. So what does this become? This one. So this becomes R I V I, V at x I, R at x I. This is same as V I R I, right. So at some I have potential and wave function real part. What about this one? What happens to this Laplacian? So this will become R I plus 1, I do central differencing, minus 2 R I plus R I minus 1 by 2, I call this H, uniform spacing, 2H squared. Okay. So this is space discretization. Now this is computed at, so this is a real part, I can compute at discrete. So my time is going like this. Okay. So let me draw the time in this axis. So my I start with 0, 1, 2 like this, 3, my real part will go jump like that, but my imaginary part will be going from half, 3 half like this. Is that okay? So these are known at discrete at integer times. So this is at n, and this of course is constant, it does not change, potential is not changing in time. Now this I will write this as I n plus half minus I n minus half by delta t, because my imaginary part is jumping from semi integer half integral time steps. Is that clear to everyone? So what about the real part, how will it be? So this is the equation you have to write for imaginary part. Now for the real part is going to be, so let's look at right hand side first. So I will write this as same notation plus V I made a error, sign error, this is minus, no? So minus plus V, where do I compute? This computed where? Where should I compute? In time. So this is of course I, actually I should put I here, okay. So this is I, this is space index. Now this is going to be at half, n minus half, let us say. So this is computed, okay. So I want to jump from, so this is jumping in discrete times. Let us say I want to jump from 2 to 3. So I will use 2.5 at I at 2.5. So this will be n plus 1 minus Rn, so this plus half, let us put plus half, by I delta t. Okay. So this is how my real part, the wave function will jump in time. Okay. So this is clear from n to n plus 1 or n plus half to n plus 3 half or n minus half to n plus half. Only problem will come with the first step. First step I will be given real and imaginary part at t equal to 0. So wave function normally give it some initial time, but I have to jump to half for the imaginary part. So the first time step you can use Euler. For the imaginary part you have to go here. So use Euler to jump for the first time step. Now is that clear? You will just do the bookkeeping and you will get it right. And this scheme preserves mod psi square within error. It will neither decay nor grow. So mod psi square, if I compute like this quantity, it will fluctuate around 1. Okay. So this is way to do it. This you can do it in this class. So whoever is doing time dependent Schrodinger equation can adopt this scheme. There is another way which is, I do not recommend it because I have not done that method very not yet actually. So let us do another method which but I will tell you for completeness. So this is called split operator method. Any question on this method? So it is inspired by leapfrog. My time is jumping for real part in integer time steps, well at integer time levels, and the imaginary part at semi integer time levels, and you just do it. So there is another scheme called split operator method which also does which preserves this, and the idea is the following. So we can get psi t plus delta t in operator form minus h t by h bar psi, right. So this is a operator equation. Okay. So time evolution given wave function at time t, I can go to time t plus delta t, and this is the evolution operator. Now this is written as a matrix, this is an operator, but we will go to real space, this kind of representation. So we just make slight change in the scheme. So this is written as, so let us write this as e to the minus in two parts. So I am going to again drop h bar, okay. H bar will non-dimensionalize it and will go to 1. So delta t by 2 by t. Now multiply by inverse of this from both sides, inverse of this, and inverse of this will be I h delta t by 2 psi t plus delta t. There is a reason why one needs to write that. Now this will preserve mod psi square, right? To do it I had to just do the ket part and a bra part and multiply and rather what is scalar product. Now this preserves mod psi square, but I had to do in finite time. My delta t is finite, my delta t is not going to 0, so we need to approximate this. So we write this as I keep only first order h delta t by 2. Equal to 1 minus right. This again, by doing this conjugate and multiplying, you can show that this will preserve mod psi square up to order delta t. Shall I leave this exercise? So if I do this, it is going to be 1 minus I h, right. This is the transpose will be that and multiply. So delta t up to delta t squared is going to be cancelled, in this minus I will cancel with plus I, okay. So this preserves up to order delta t, not to arbitrary order because I already expanded it, okay. So this guarantees preservation of mod psi square up to certain order. Now we write down my s function of x. So how do I write this? Now this part is bit long, so let's take this space. I'll just sketch it. I will not write down all the terms, but now you can start seeing what I'm going to get. Okay, so 1 plus I h is delta t by 2 mod x squared plus v, let's put a bracket, psi t plus delta t. So this is going to be n plus 1, this is the time index, and I will put space index. So right now let me just put x, because when I do this mod psi, this double derivative, I will have I plus 1, I minus 1 and I, okay, and the right hand side will be 1 minus I delta t by 2 plus v psi of x n. Okay, so I am going to write this part, I will expand this. Now in terms of space indices, this is the time index, space index. So let's write the space index. Now I am going to work out at position I or xi if you like. So the first term will be psi of I n plus 1, space discretization. I hope it's clear to everyone. So I am looking at this position I. Now what about this one? I delta t by 2. Now what happens to the second derivative? It will be minus psi n plus 1 I plus 1 minus 2 psi I n plus 1 plus psi I minus 1 n plus 1. This is this term by h squared, right, this double derivative plus v of at xi psi n plus 1 at I, bracket close, and same thing in the right hand side. But right hand side is function of time t. So similar expression, but these are all function of psi of n at I, n I plus 1 and I minus 1. So what do I get? Now this is similar, this you have seen it before, this expression. How will I solve a coupled equation like this? Please remember that I have to solve psi n plus 1. I want to solve at time t plus delta t. So this is my unknown, this part. This part is known, this is given to me. So this becomes a matrix. Now if you write it as a matrix, so this is a matrix, and you will see the terms like psi I minus 1, psi I and psi I plus 1, and this is n plus 1 time, n plus 1 time, this is unknown, okay, n plus 1. So it starts from psi 0 and all the way up to psi n minus 1. Now what are the entries here? So let us look at psi I entry or psi I minus 1 entry. So in fact they come in diagonal forms, tridiagonal form. So what is the coefficient of psi I minus 1? Psi minus 1 is coefficient only this. So this one will be off diagonal here, left, I mean, so this will go and multiply here, and this is that term. Let me call it alpha. Alpha equal to I delta t, is a minus sign here, no, minus sign by s 2s squared. So this is that term, it will come here. Is that clear to everyone? So just collect the term of psi I minus 1, which is the only term, this is the only term. Psi I plus 1 will be this term, this term. In fact again same thing, in fact this will be alpha, alpha. And what about this? Psi I coefficient, psi I has this 1 here, and there are this factor and this is this factor. So beta is equal to 1 plus minus minus becomes plus I delta t by 2 cancels by s squared. Okay, unless I made a sign error, but this is the term with beta. So this will appear for all psi, everywhere. Okay. Now I can solve this. What is right hand side? Right hand side is known to me. So this becomes the right hand side becomes a vector. It's a vector. So you have to solve a matrix which is tridiagonal matrix, exactly same as what we got for Laplacian operator. In fact, this is Laplacian operator. Really, Laplacian plus this is a Laplacian operator, but you got something here v. So what you use for Laplacian operator will work here as well. You can also use iterative scheme. Okay, so what you use for iterative scheme, you can try it here, it will work. But if you want to solve a tridiagonal matrix, then you have to use a matrix algebra, which I will do maybe on next Monday. Is that clear? So this is, so given psi n, I can get psi n plus 1, and psi n plus 1 I can psi n plus 2. So I can time step and I can find wave function at later times, but it involves solving the tridiagonal matrix, and this method is called split operator method. Okay, I do not recommend this, this is more complex, but you can certainly use the leapfrog method. Okay. So these are the two schemes to solve time dependent Schrodinger equation.